I have worked with 1,000+ students if we count our master classes as well, and like all of them have gone for study abroad and some with very, very fruitful outcomes. But I do think that study abroad is not right for everyone, and there are some scenarios in which you should not go for a master's in US specifically, and I want to talk about those scenarios today, because as always this channel is not really about pushing people for study abroad, but letting them explore what's best for them. And study abroad is a pretty good way of getting some of those things for a lot of Indians. That is why we talk about study abroad. So in today's video I'm going to talk about those specific scenarios in which I do not recommend going for a master's in USA. Let's get started. Hey guys, thanks for watching our videos and leaving us such good feedback and comments in there. I really appreciate it. Alright, so today we are talking about certain slightly negative topic to what I usually talk about, right? So decision to study abroad is always complex, right? And I'm a big proponent of it. Like studying in US transformed my life and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience in US, right? But in today's video, I want to talk about some scenarios under which study abroad can be wrong for you. So what are those circumstances in which you should not be considering a master's in US? That is what we are going to talk about today. So you are better off in India maybe instead of applying for master's in US, according to me, in these scenarios. So number one scenario is if you have a high paying job in India that you really like. Okay, now the biggest reason people want to go to US is to start earning well, right? Most of the fresher jobs in India pay you less than 10 lakh per annum, like 10 lakh, I'm talking really high. Most of them pay barely 3 to 5 lakh per annum, right? Whereas you can start earning $75,000 to $80,000 in salary easily after doing a master's in US. Now here, of course, I'm talking more about engineering careers. You can find out the number for your stream. But if you're not from engineering stream, then like in India also, the starting package would be pretty low. In US, you can start with a salary of $75,000 to $80,000 and you can get signing bonuses, etc., which means you start earning around 65 to 70 lakh per annum of salary. By the way, I had a starting job of only 3 lakh per annum in India right out of campus, but I went to US and there I started with $100,000 job right after my MS, and as I've told you again and again, this was 15 years ago. So of course the starting salaries are higher now. Now if you're getting very average salaries in India, I do think masters in US makes a lot of sense for your career and financial growth. But let's say you have a 50 lakh per annum kind of job in India. And the reason I'm saying this because I am seeing like some good developers, software engineers, they are getting these remote jobs and which are paying them in basically in US and UK salaries while they are sitting and coding from here in India. So that's like a pretty lucrative career option. I'm not going to deny that, right? So if you have a 50 lakh per annum job, or if you are graduating from DU and you have got a very, very good consulting or finance kind of a job and you're happy with what you're doing and also making salaries like 40-50 lakh per annum, then I think then you can build a pretty good career in here in India as well. Plus you're closer to your family and all those other reasons for which people want to stay in India are true for you. You can have a very, very good quality of life. So in this case, I feel like MS is optional for you, right? Although let me just add that if you're making 50 lakh per annum in India, then I think you can make much, much higher packages by going to US. But I understand that money is not the foremost priority for all the people. So if you care about other factors which India offers, being closer to your family, etc., then I think it's a great option. If you're earning that much, masters is not really that attractive for you. Number two is you want to return to India immediately after finishing your masters. So if that is the case with you, then I would not recommend going for a master's. So honestly, I advise working at least 3 years before leaving US if you want to get the proper value of your education there. You may not find jobs that actually value your MS degree if you return right away, right? So you finished your master's, you immediately came back to India. Now you are going to crib that, like, I'm not making enough money, or I'm not getting the kind of jobs that I hoped I would. So that's going to happen. So returning early is not going to give you a good ROI on your master's education. So what you should do instead is, like, wait at least 3 years, get some work experience in US. So that work experience from US is going to really add a lot of weight in your resume. And then of course you can think of coming back and maybe getting a comparative package, or really leveraging that education and experience that you gained abroad. But if you come any sooner, then I think it's too soon, and you're not going to get equivalent value back in your home country. Third scenario is you want to switch fields and you are over 35 years of age. Yes, I do get inquiries like this sometimes, when a person just wants to start a completely new career because they are not enjoying what they are doing, and they are in mid 30s, they have a family, etc. Then I try to have a longer conversation with these people and try to make them see the cost of this choice and whether they should properly evaluate if this is going to be the right step for them or not. So in most of the cases, what I do find is that it's not a good idea to start afresh in a new field at this age in a country like US. So firstly, you will spend a lot of money finishing your masters in the US, and then you're going to be struggling for jobs because you will be competing against people who have maybe 10 plus years of experience in this field. So why would they really hire you is the question, and people underestimate this question. So I want you to think about this carefully. Also, by 30s, you have other responsibilities, you have dependents in your family who are looking up to you. So, please calculate the ROI, not just financial but personal, before making such decisions. But usually I tell people not to do this. So masters is not a good idea if you want to just completely switch careers at the age of 35 or more. Fourth scenario is that you are not really sure if you want to study anymore. So in this case, you should definitely not go for masters or any other course, I would say, because masters in US is a decent commitment. It requires a lot of time, money, and energy. You don't want to spend those 1.5, 2 years in doing something which you're not sure of, right? So make sure that you know why you are doing it, what is your career goal, and how this master's is going to help you get there. If you're not clear on those things, or if you have at all any doubt that whether you can go back to the classroom or not, avoid a master's because it may not be a pleasant experience for you. In the final scenario in which I do not recommend applying for a master's in US is if you're interested in non-STEM careers and you do not have infinite money. So by non-STEM careers, I mean careers like in HR, literature, psychology. Now psychology is STEM in some places but mostly not, or marketing, political science, etc. So I know some people go for these kind of careers and they go for studying these things in US and UK, but mostly they have strong financial backing from their family. So basically they're rich kids, they can afford to do it. So even if they don't find a job after that, they are okay. But if you are self-funding this education and you're relying on jobs to pay your bills, then I do not recommend studying abroad in these fields because you will end up frustrated because these careers do not have very good job prospects and especially visa prospects in US, right? So when you do a non-STEM degree, you get only 1 year of OPT, that is 1 year of chance to get your H1B, which can be extremely difficult in today's scenario. So the solution here is to try to find a STEM counterpart for your interests, right? So let's say you're interested in marketing, then you can go for something like a marketing analytics course instead of pure marketing. Similarly, if you are interested in political science, see if you can go via STEM course in economics instead of a non-STEM course in political science. So I would stick to STEM majors only, just simply for this reason, because I get those extra 2 years of OPT, which can make my job hunt easy and it can give me some peace of mind later on. So these were the 5 scenarios under which I will not recommend going for a master's in US in today's time, because as we are seeing, the job market is tough. overall there is a question mark on economies of countries as well. So you have to think really hard and make sure that you're going for a good ROI education. And these 5 circumstances, I think, do not give me that confidence that, like, it will do the right thing for my career. So this is why think twice if you fall in one of those 5 circumstances that I've just mentioned. So this video is not to scare you, but to put a realistic picture that do evaluate your motivations very carefully before deciding your study abroad education. Of course, if you have any questions around it, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments below. What do you think about this topic? Let me know. And I will again see you guys next week with another video. Take care. Bye-bye.